Hello and welcome to News Centre. I'm Parikshit Luthra. The 5-day special session of the Parliament has come to an end. Both the houses were adjourned sine die. However, the session stood to witness two historic milestones. A historic bill which mandates that 1/3 of all general, scheduled castes and scheduled tribe seats in the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies be reserved for women. Now that has passed the parliamentary hurdle. In the Lok Sabha, all parties barring the All India AIMM party gave the bill a thumbs up. However, here's a quick caveat. The implementation of the bill can only take place once the delimitation exercise has taken place. Right now, 15% of members in the Lok Sabha are women. The other big milestone, the Parliament has moved to a new address 76 years after Nehru's midnight hour speech ushered in India's independence. The 96-year-old building, which was built by British architects, was seen as inadequate for the needs of the present day. The new Parliament building, constructed at a cost of over 860 crore rupees, has an expanded seating capacity, with chambers having digitized systems. The Parliament session also stood witness to despicable behaviour by a BJP lawmaker. BJP MP Ramesh Biduri used communal slurs on the floor of the Lok Sabha against Bahujan Samaj Party MP Danish Ali yesterday. He called him a terrorist, a pimp, among other expletives. Speaker Om Birla expunged Biduri's remarks and let him off with just a warning. Reports suggest that the BJP has served a show-cause notice on Biduri, and Danish Ali has said that he might consider quitting Parliament if justice is not ensured. Let me now go across to Neerja Chaudhary, senior journalist and political analyst who's joining us right now. Neerja Chaudhary, I'd like to begin by asking you, do you think the manner in which Ramesh Biduri behaved in the Lok Sabha, this is going to put the BJP in a spot with the opposition?
Yes, I mean, it's nothing to be proud of. So they will have to be answerable for it, and the opposition will certainly try and corner them, as has happened. So, yes, indeed, it's not a very happy situation.
What kind of action can be taken? Danish Ali wants the Privileges Committee to act against Ramesh Biduri. The opposition is demanding that he be sacked. Do you think the BJP, the Prime Minister, would be able to let this episode go without taking some action, some strong action against Ramesh Biduri? How does this affect the image of the BJP?
Yes, it does affect the image of the BJP, and it remains to be seen how strong an action that the Prime Minister takes. So far, it's a warning. So will it be more than a warning? That we need to wait and see.
Right. Now, coming to the Women's Reservation Bill, the timing of this bill, do you think this really helps the BJP with its electorate, with votes in the upcoming state elections? Do you think the party has managed to score a point?
Look, obviously, the timing of the bill it's a decision, to consolidate the following of the women voters behind the BJP. Women have been a vote bank of Narendra Modi, and they pulled this rabbit out of the hat. But how much of an impact it will have, it remains to be seen again, because while Parliament has committed itself to bringing 1/3 reservation for women in Parliament and state assemblies by passing this bill, when it becomes a reality is a question mark. There is no timeline because it's been linked to the census that will be held in 2026 and the delimitation exercise that will follow it. Now, the census cannot take place before 2026. So a census takes anything from, even if you speed it up, at least a couple of years. And the delimitation exercise is also expected to take 2 to 3 years, which means if the whole exercise starts in 2026, it can go up to 2030, 2031. Now, if you're optimistic, you may say it may be completed in 2029, but more likely the change and more women in Parliament and assemblies probably will be a reality in 2034. So, yes, Parliament has made a commitment.
Right.
But the reality, the can has also been kicked down the road. And this becoming a reality will still take time. And so, that being the case, does it pay BJP dividends, electoral dividends in the forthcoming elections? Maybe a little bit, because they've shown that only Narendra Modi can do this. Congress failed to do it in 2010 when the Rajya Sabha passed it, but the Lok Sabha did not, and the Congress had got cold feet because of the reservation expressed by OBC leaders, Mulayam Singh Yadav, Sharad Yadav, Lalu Yadav, who called for a quota for OBC women within the larger quota for women.
Right. So clearly, we can expect the opposition to go to the electorate and say that nothing on the bill is going to happen immediately. It may get postponed to beyond 2030 or even 2034. But to what extent is the government right in its assessment in saying that this can only happen after the delimitation exercise? Because the Congress bill, the UPA bill of 2008-2010, did not have this delimitation clause. Yes, the census and delimitation cannot take place before 2026 because the census can, but delimitation is in a way on hold till 2026 because of a constitutional amendment regarding alteration of seats. To what extent do you think the BJP is right in its argument to wait for the delimitation to actually take place?
Look, the BJP is also grappling with the central challenge that Women's Reservation Bill has posed from day one. And why MPs within parties which were actually supporting the bill ostensibly, but groups within these parties were opposed to it. And I believe, having seen things over the years, that they were firing off the shoulders of the OBC leaders. What is the central reservation point? It is not that these MPs are anti-women, because these very MPs have passed very pro-women bills in Parliament. So what is the point of reservation? The point of reservation is the 1/3 seats. Where will the sword fall? Whose seat will go out to the women's quota? You don't know. And it may be a Baramati today. Baramati, of course, is represented by Supriya Sule, but in the past by Sharad Pawar. It could be Mainpuri, it could be Wayanad, it could be Hyderabad, it could be anybody's seat. Seats that they have nurtured over the years. So that goes to the women's quota overnight is something that people are very insecure about and unhappy about. So the Narendra Modi government did not want to take that decision, obviously. So this again is a can that kicked down the road and said this is a decision that the delimitation commission would take, because he, as the Home Minister put it in Parliament, if we decide that Wayanad goes out to the women's quota, you will say we've been partisan in our decision making. But the impact of that decision is that the whole thing, again gets postponed. The only thing you can say is that it's a consolation that at least in 10 years it would get done. It may not take 27 more years that the women have waited for.
Right. Absolutely. We've been waiting 26 years. But I'll request you to hold on with us, Neerja Chaudhary. We've got a big political development coming in months ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. The BJP-led NDA has a new ally. Former Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy's Janata Dal Secular has joined the National Democratic Alliance. Kumaraswamy met Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP President J.P. Nadda in Delhi today. Nadda said that this will further strengthen the NDA. The JDS has a lone MP, Prajwal Rivana, in the Lok Sabha. Rivana, the grandson of former Prime Minister H.D. Devegowda, won the Hassan Lok Sabha seats as a joint candidate of JDS and the Congress party. Let's play out some sound bites for you.
We discussed about joining hand with BJP by joining NDA partner. Actually, we have discussed preliminary issues formally. All those outcome will going to be announced at a appropriate time.
And what are your demands? How many?
There is no demand. There is no demand.
All right, let's get in a quick reaction from Neerja Chaudhary. Ma'am, do you feel there is a significant boost to the BJP as a result of this alliance with the JDS?
Yes, I think it will make a difference in Karnataka. And Mr. J.P. Nadda, when he was speaking in Parliament yesterday, I think it was, he almost gave the game away when he said the Prime Minister is the first OBC Prime Minister that we had. And they were shouting from the opposition benches, pointing to Mr. Devagowda, who was also an OBC Prime Minister. So he said, Devagowda, of course, is one of us. So this was on the cards. It was expected. Mr. Devagowda had met the Prime Minister also earlier. And yes, it will strengthen the BJP's position in Karnataka.
All right, we've run out of time.
Particularly
but Ms. Neerja Chaudhary, thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely, we get your point. Thank you once again for being with us here on News Centre with all your insights into this Parliament session. We're going to take a short break here on CNBC-TV18. When we return, a slew of newsmakers, the head of Amazon Web Services in India, the head of Boeing